Oh, shit. Microphone was off. Alright, there we go. Turn the desktop audio down a little bit. There we go. And let's try to connect YouTube chat. Oopsies. And let me pop out chat. Take that, and then go bada bing, bada boom. Maybe now, and then we put this back. Cool. Awesome. We got it. All right. What's going on, everybody? Sorry this is, like, really out of nowhere. It was out of nowhere for me, too. I decided that I might as well, considering in, like, the next week, we're probably gonna get the list anyway. I might as well just stream now. It's like 9 o'clock. I got nothing really better to do. Shouldn't take too long, and if anything drops, it'll be in like 40 minutes, and by that, I mean like probably over an hour and a half, because it takes that long for organization to translate to and stuff. So I was like, fuck it. Might as well stream. So, like I said, bit impromptu. Apologize for that. But I got my internet working. So the big problem, for those that were trying to tune in, I think it was last week I tried to do it. Unfortunately, I was having some internet problems. My upload speed was like 2 megabits per second. I got it back up to like 10, 11. All we had to do was like unplug our routers, let it sit there for like 5 minutes, and then we plugged them back in. Might have been from like some power surges or something like that. I don't know. They're pretty old routers and stuff, so I figured let's go ahead and get started with this. We got our lovely little list here. Sorry if it keeps resetting itself. But we got the banned section, the limited section, the semi-limited section, and the unlimited section. This one's probably going to be a bit iffy because it's hard to predict when Konami brings stuff back rather than what they hit. And keep in mind, this isn't going to be a wish list per se, so much as it is going to be a prediction list. So let's try not to have a disaster of a list like last time. I swear to God, I got flamed so hard for y'all's decisions, and I could never live it down. It was that bad. So please, let's try to be realistic. I do have a bunch of different things. Like, I don't know if it shows up here. Okay, it doesn't, but I have, like, a lot of different cards to talk about. They were in order last week. They're not in order now, so whatever. I mean, I don't think it matters that much. Misk to 4, GG, easy, real. And they still died to Ash. You know, I played against 2 Dino players in a row last week. I went to locals, I was playing Dinomorphia without Wannabe or Intact, and I played against 2 Dino players in a row, and then Gozen, like, folded the first one, and the other one wasn't even really a challenge, but still, Gozen was way too powerful. I mainly put it in for the Dogron, but it's also really good because it's Dinosaur. But, okay, Cash is 100% getting hit to the ground or Rise plus Shifter Ban. I don't know if it's getting hit to the ground. I think they'll just, like, they'll give it a good hit. I think they're gonna hit, like, they're gonna ban at least one card and probably, like, limit or semi another card. Like, one out of Archetype, one in Archetype. I don't think they're gonna, like, go super hard into it, though, because they're still selling Hypernova, so I'm not sure. But I don't want to waste any more time. Like I said, I don't want to make this be, like, too long or anything like that. So let's go ahead and get started. Starting us off, we have Branded Expulsion. So Expulsion has been the target of a lot of, like, assault. Everyone hates this card so much, even with Branded dipping off significantly in terms of both representation and top cut success. People really hate this card. And the main problem when it comes to hitting Expulsion, the banning is the only other option. We'll be doing polls and stuff. So it's either keeping it at 3 or banning it. The problem with banning it is that we are getting Sanctfire Dragon, I think it's called now. It was Incandescent Dragon, New Albion. It's essentially the same thing that where, yeah, you do have to open a little bit more than just the Aluber. It still lets you set up the Gimmick Puppet lock. And so it's a bit of an iffy topic, but I wanted to let you all have a little bit of a discussion over it. I think it's a really strong card. I think it's really gross, especially with all the stuff you can do. The main problem comes with hitting it. Doesn't really do much when Sanctfire is already a card. Photon Hypernova has GP and Branded. I mean, still, like, Castro is still, like, one of the biggest selling points. But anyways, what do we think in general about Branded Expulsion? I'm going to put a... if I can remember how to do it... Haha! Alright, so... Expulsion. Sorry if I get too close or bump the mic or whatever. My keyboard's actually... I should move that back. There we go. I was play testing earlier. Leave me alone. So Expulsion. We're going to put 3 or 0. So remember, this is a prediction list. Do we think this card is going to get hit, or do we think Konami's going to ignore it? So let's go... Alright. Cool, it's up. Gravekeeper's Inscription and Tier Cash could have been... Yeah, the Gravekeeper's card is so weird. This Cherry Pepsi honestly hits really hard. I found Cherry Vanilla Coke at Walmart for the first time in, like, a decade. I swear to God, I was, like, jumping with joy like a little kid. It's, like, 0 sugar, but it's, like, cherry vanilla. I was so excited. Alright, so we got 2 votes, 3 votes. Remember, y'all, don't be shy. Even if you're here just lurking, you can always go ahead and just click a vote. It's anonymous completely. I won't be able to see what your dirty, dirty thoughts are. Yeah, it would have been good in a tier format, but Konami decided that tier did not need any more time, which I agree. Alright, so we got 4 votes now. Looks like we got 4 concurrent viewers, so I'm going to go ahead and end the poll there. They'll ban it to push the new fusion. See, I'm thinking that too. I think the only reason they'd hit it is not because it's gross, but because they have Sanctifier that they want to push. And that'll probably end up making the price of Sanctifier go up a little bit more. Tier needed more time? Pff, no. It was legal since like August, and it got hit in February. It was perfectly fine. That was like half a year. Alright, so it looks like y'all are on the ban Expulsion train. Let's go edit, free transform. My Photoshop might be a little bit laggy, so this could be annoying. Sometimes if I leave it open for a certain amount of time without closing the app and then reopening it, which I should have just done when I already cleared all my stuff, it sometimes makes everything really laggy. I think that's just a thing that Photoshop does because of, like, memory or RAM, something like that. Not too sure. Could also have something to do with my, like, ancient 10-year-old hard drive. But, alright, so Branded Expulsion is our first banned card. Let's close that out on here. Next up, speaking on the topic of branded, we have Branded Fusion. So, personally, I don't think they're going to hit Branded Fusion, but I've been seeing a lot of people suggesting a Branded Fusion limit. Fenrir gets hit, Konami's on crack. Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't hit Fenrir either. Like, we'll talk about Fenrir later. I have it pulled up, but I think Fenrir is, like, one of the most fine cards. It's not even the best card in cash. But I've seen a lot of people ask for, like, Branded Fusion limit. But I think not just involving how much success the brand has been seeing compared to, like, other decks, but also just because they want to push more product. Branded's not even done. The storyline's still not over. We're going to get Season 2 here soon. So I don't think Branded Fusion's going to get hit in any way, but I will ask in a poll, what do we think about Branded Fusion? Branded Fusion, is it going to stay at 3? Is it going to go to 2? Is it going to go to 1? Or are they going to ban it? Which I don't think they're going to ban it. But I'll put it in the poll. Branded Fusion can stay at 2 or 3. I don't think they'll put it to 2. I mean, like, I know Konami likes semi-limiting random cards, but I don't think they'll put it to 2. That just feels kind of weird. I think it'd be a 1 or a 3. You don't think they're going to kneecap Castra like they did in the OCG? I don't really think so. So, Castra is easily the best deck over here, and probably, don't quote me on this, probably will be even after Cyberstorm access. Because if they want to, they can do Visa stuff, and then also super heavy in decks like that kind of die to Droll anyway. Like, I think it's still going to be the best deck, but I don't think it's, like, really, really bad. I think it needs addressing, but I don't think they're going to, like, completely murder it like they did with Tier. I think it's going to be a random hit to it for no reason. I mean, I can kind of see it. So we got 6 votes with 6 concurrent viewers. So it's 50-50, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it at 3. If it comes to that, I'll just make it no change. So, let's go ahead and close out of that one. Let me go ahead and close that. Alright, so this one is the big topic of discussion. This is Diablosis the Mind Hacker. This card is schnasty. So this is the one that rips a card from your extra deck while getting knowledge of your extra deck, and ripping a bunch of stuff off the top of your deck every single turn just by having your stuff banished face down. It is made literally by sneezing in Castra. All they need is the 1-card combo plus any extender, and they get this on top of their massive end board. But the main problem with Diablosis comes that it facilitates the massive zone lock. Without Diablosis, I don't believe, even with the 2 Shangriiras on board, they can't do the, like, lock 3, lock 5, whatever. So it's really, really frustrating. Not to mention that because it rips from the extra deck and the main deck, it makes deck building warp for both playstyles. Like, not playstyles, sorry, but both builds. Like, usually there's a card that warps the main deck or warps the extra deck, but this warps both. You have to play multiple copies of important cards in your extra deck. You have to play even more copies of important cards in your extra deck, including things that might be garnets otherwise that you could end up drawing and being really bad off with drawing. So I think Diablosis is the biggest problem card in Castra. I think this card is easily ban worthy. It's either going to be either stay at 3 or it's going to be banned. So I'm going to go ahead and ask in a poll. This is one of the most discussed cards when it comes to the ban list. Let's go ahead and put it in this poll. Diablosis 3 or 0. Diablosis I could see staying? Really? Konami wasn't pleased seeing the 9 zone lock at YCS. No, what do you mean? That's peak Yu-Gi-Oh! That is fun, interactive gameplay, and you are going to enjoy it, goddammit. Alright, looks like we have half of the people saying 0. Over half now. I think they can hit other stuff first. I think, honestly, they're just going to hit indirect cards rather than direct cards. Plus, they're not selling Brothers of Legend anymore. That set's, like, super old. So, oh my god, actually. Wow. That was, like... How long ago was Brothers of Legend? Was that 2021, or am I tripping? That's crazy. How will Super Heavy get hit? They won't. They won't hit Super Heavy. It's literally just coming out. Or the new stuff is, at least. Alright, so it looks like we basically got a unanimous 0. So, Diablosis... Oh, oopsies. I wish I could just hand it from existence like that. It looks like we're seeing Diablosis to 0. Up here, get it nice and even. Bada bing, bada boom. Oopsies. That was not supposed to go that thin. And there we go. There we go. There's one card that Super Heavy Samurai could get banned. I mean, like, Cyberstorm I can see. But I'm not too sure. We'll have to see if a bunch of Cyberstorm builds end up doing most of the topping or whatever like that. Next up on the topic of Castra, we have Dimension Shifter. This is a card that has been being talked about for ages and ages and ages. And by ages, I mean since tier came out. This card can end up being just a complete auto win against, like, a lot of decks. But the main thing about Shifter is I can only see play in a certain few decks. It was seeing almost, like, exclusive play in, like, Rogue and then a bunch of anti-meta picks during tier format. But now it's, like, Castra, Exosister, which is already bad, and then Flu, which is kind of eh. So, I'm wondering, because, like, Castra isn't even really maining Shifter. Like, most of them aren't. They're just siding it for certain matchups. So, it's, like, an interesting card to talk about, because could we see this getting hit when it's just a side deck pick for 1 or 2 decks? Or could it end up being, like, so strong in general, especially in the new format, that it gets hit anyway? I'm not too sure. Shifter banned, however, Konami will likely limit. Honestly, I'd kind of be fine with a Shifter limit, because it's not like it's a card you can dig for, like, I don't know, like Droll, for example. I don't think... Oh, no, we are talking about Droll on this, but... for example, it's not something you can dig for off, like, Prosperity or something. You have to open it. So putting it to 1 wouldn't be the worst, but... I'm going to just do 0 and 3 when we do the poll. Isn't Shifter main only really a Flu thing? Nah, Exosister was maining it too, but I don't know if they still do. But anyways, Shifter, 3 or 0. Shifter kills every deck next format. It doesn't kill all of them. It's just really, really annoying. Because the Purely thing doesn't send for cost. Like, none of the Purely spells do, so you can still set up Purely stuff. Regulus, Baron, Savage, and Apo ban real. They are going to end on Cheng Ying, and they are going to like it. Alright, so looks like over half saying 3. Y'all don't think Shifter's gonna get hit? Interesting, interesting. This could end up swaying, though, if the last 3 people end up voting something different. So... I pulled Baron in my maze box. Please no ban, Konami. I pulled one too, and my friend, not last night, but on Friday at Locals, literally got a random box of maze, and he got a regular and a CR Baron. Skill issue. Yeah, it purely plays cards that plus engrave and needs spells for attach. That's true, but like I said, it doesn't really kill it. It just really hurts. But at that point, they're also going to be in for trouble against Castra, period, because of a Riseheart. So it's a bit of an interesting discussion. I could definitely see the reasoning for it going, though. Like, this coming from someone that really wanted it gone in tier format. Alright, looks like everybody voted, and Shifter is staying at 3. Me never owning Baron due to pricing. I think I got my first Baron back when she was still, like, 90, 100. I traded... God, what did I trade? I traded, like, a Ghost Rare and some other random things from my binder. Oh, no, I think it was just a Ghost Rare. It was, like, a Ghost Rare Blue Eyes or something, which was, like... It was, like, 200, I think. Jesus Christ. I got, like, a Baron. I got a Common and Super Max C. Both of them were $30 a pop. I got like a bunch of random stuff then. But yeah, that was ages ago. But then I ended up just pulling mine, my other one out of Maze after I gave the other one to our friend M Rocket. Samurai also has no out, but they don't need their spells hitting the graveyard. They can just use spell. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's really, really bad against Super Heavy because they can't use Soul Piercer or anything like that. Will Super Heavy Samurai be its own deck or will it be an Earth Machine engine? Absolutely its own deck. You use Earth Machine as an engine, if anything. Like, Super Heavy, in its best, you play it pure, but you can also mash it with a bunch of other things. The main issue is that mashing it with other things, you can't really play much back row. So you can, like, play a bunch of different types of Super Heavy Samurai, but you gotta be very, very careful. Purely cannot set up Noir if shifted. Sucks to suck. Super Heavy is gonna be a problem we'll need to get addressed in some form. I think Super Heavy is interesting because there's a lot of outs. Like, I think the biggest issue is setting up Spell Canceller to out Dark Ruler, but otherwise they just explode to Dark Ruler. Plus, you can also use, like, Spear Mode, Lava Golem, stuff like that. I think, ironically, it's much more fair in what it does than Castra. It just has a lot more flex spots than Castra. Alright, anyways, next up, oof. This is a card that I hate. Dimensional Barrier. So, Barrier is, it's a card, alright. So, I've been one of the people advocating for this card to be gone for a while, especially now that we have Labyrinth able to just get it directly from the deck, and now we're getting a bunch of cards like Trap Track, etc. to get it from deck, even at just a one of. And I think this card's going to kind of be out of control, especially with Trap Track and like a bunch of other trap decks getting supported by Wannabe. Wannabe can literally just fetch this off the top of your deck. I think this card kind of needs to go, in my opinion. We have a lot of our decks that are going to be in for a really bad time, you know? Calling Xyz against Purely, calling Pendulum against Super Heavy, or even Synchro, one of the two. There's just so many decks that this card just completely folds, and it's super searchable now compared to when it used to be like a draw the out sort of thing. And without reboot or anything like that, there's nothing you can do about it. So I think it's a pretty gross card. I think it should be gone. So I'm going to put 3 or 0. Just let me know what you guys think. Do we think that Konami will hit this? Because remember, this is predictions. This isn't a wish list. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in a poll. Let me go ahead and look at chat here. 3, because Monodium Scareclaw can abuse. I love Monodium Scareclaw. The deck's so based. Think it needs to go as well. Never been pretty broken since day 1. Give me one deck in Syac that doesn't die to Shifter. Bird up. Easy. No. I'm trying to think of all the decks for Syac. Let me just go ahead and look at my tier list. Let's see. Branded doesn't die to Shifter. They can play pretty decently under Shifter. Sprite doesn't die to Shifter. They can set up certain things. Labyrinth just sets 5 passes. Sword Soul can play under Shifter. Trap Tricks can kind of play under Shifter. Flu can play under Shifter. Oh, in Syac. I thought they said post Syac. Skill Drain is not a lingering effect. Yeah. I still think it's gross, but it's not a lingering effect, to be fair. Alright, so it looks like the majority says it's going to be banned, but we still have 4 people that can vote. We're at 13 viewers right now. Sheesh, on a Sunday night? Crazy. I expected not to have that many viewers because it's a Sunday night and people might have to work tomorrow. But time zones are also wild. Man, like I said, that Pepsi's really hitting different. Oh, sorry for bumping the mic. I gotta, like... I'm gonna keep this off to the side. Can y'all still hear me when it's, like, right over here? Just let me know how the mic sounds from right here. Otherwise, I'm just gonna move it back. How's my day so far? My day's been pretty good, actually. Woke up around... Like, I actually got up around noon to put on the Overwatch League stream in the background so I can get tokens and stuff. And then I kind of responded to a bunch of comments because I had a video drop today and I had a lot of people not like my tier list. Sucks to suck, get better. Actually, let me go ahead and refresh this. Let me see the like to dislike ratio. Okay, it's a lot better now. There hasn't been any more dislikes. It's 58 to 4, but it was like 28 to 4 earlier. Branded is the only deck you've mentioned. It severely limited, loses a lot of plays. A lot of the stuff like triggers when it's banished though, as a branded player. And also the decks out of Syac aren't going to be the only decks. Like, all right, so it looks like people are saying Barrier to Zero is going to happen. Interesting. Let's put this over here. Yeah, and when sent to graveyard, but like they also trigger when they're banished, like Tragedy, Mercurier, stuff like that. All right. So next up, Konami gonna likely try to sell new set with the ban list. Oh, they always do. That's why we usually get ban lists when we get a new core set. But next up on the topic of branded, though, we have Dragoon. So again, just make sure. One sec. Let me. All right, you're probably gonna hear an echo real quick. Just. Okay. When does the new ban list update come out? Sometime this week, most likely. They aren't gonna try to sell Labyrinth. I mean, whatever. They might because I want to be. But yeah, so Dragoon, some people have been wanting this card to get hit. I think it's perfectly fine. I mean, it was nasty with Verte, and now Branded's the only deck that really utilizes it well. So, I guess I'm just gonna make a poll. I'm not expecting much. Like, it's a really good card, don't get me wrong. But I don't think it's gonna get banned, not gonna lie. But I'll do a poll anyway, just in case. Yeah, I expected as much. Dragoon requires you to play Garnets. Dark Magician is not a Garnet. I outed a rivalry by tribute setting Dark Magician. Don't test me. Might get hit just for compatibility. I disagree. Like, I think they're not going to hit a card like this because they really try to sell DM nostalgia over here. And if they hit this, then their precious Dark Magician and Red Eyes decks become significantly weaker. Alright, yeah. It looks like it's definitely staying at 3. Next up, everyone's favorite Mummy Milkers. We have a Dryden here. Sorry, it's really blurry. There's like the only render that I had of it. Dryden, I think, can easily come back. I don't think they're gonna put it to 3 or anything like that. I think they might put it to 1. But y'all, what do y'all think of no one's talking about King Calamity? I mean, King Calamity, I don't think they're gonna hit now. They'd hit it later because it's not seeing current play, and it didn't even get hit during Punk format. Also, yeah, Crimson Dragon stuff is like ages from now. Dryden or Barrage can come back. Honestly, I don't like Barrage as a card, so I think Dryden's probably more likely. But let's go 1, or is it staying at 0? I personally think they're gonna limit it. Like, I always get my hopes up, though, is the big thing. Like, there's so many cards on the list, like MBT always manages to point out. There are so many cards that can come back to 1, 2, 3 copies, and no one would care. And I always get my hopes up for a really big, like, unlimit, or, like, just removing things from the list, but we rarely get those, and I think, honestly, those are better for the game than just flat-out hitting things. King Calamity still a degenerate card that shouldn't exist. Is going to be a problem eventually. That's a lot of cards, to be fair. Calamity can't be made really well. It was really good with Punk with Chaos Ruler, but Chaos Ruler's gone. Dryden, I don't know if he can come back with Jesse's success with it. You think one Dryden is going to make Jesse Cotton suddenly become, like, the best player? Like, gonna, like, win every event? Alright, we got 10 votes. It's actually a pretty close one. 60-40 right now. It could easily change. 1 Dryden, 0 Dryden, 1 Dryden, 0 Dryden. Zodiacs are 2 power creep now that Dryden can come back. It's so weird because Zoo is like an archetype that can almost never be efficiently power crept just because of how crazy it is. You just have to keep some stuff banned. I actually, someone told me that literally, I think it was last Banlist stream or something like that. Or maybe it was on Twitter. It was on Twitter. Someone told me that every Zoo card could come back and not be a problem. And I proceeded to splash them with Tri-Brigade, and any Zodiac became a 1-card full bird up combo. Like, everything you can make with bird up, like the Draco Future, Arclight, Revolt, Apo, whatever, you can just do that with Zodiac off of any Zodiac monster. Or Barrage. And that was, I think that was with, that might have been with 1 rat. I don't know, it might have been with just limited things, or I'm not too sure. Broadbull says 2 level 4 monsters, exactly. Zoo can't play on turn 0 like tier, not with that attitude. Jesse top with Dryden and Master Duel. Yeah, but Master Duel is a completely different format. Unless they were doing like a TCG format thing where they like unhit some stuff. I don't know. I just want Colossus back. Get out of my stream. Alright, so it looks like Dryden to 1. Tiers in a league of its own. I agree. I remember I did that poll. My most voted in poll, it had over 1,000 votes. It was which is the most powerful archetype of all time? Is it Zoo or is it Tier? And it was surprisingly close, but there was a lot of people saying Tier. Tier solved Yu-Gi-Oh! Dice roll problem. Fluffle played on turn 0 first, bro. What do you mean? But yeah, so first limit of the list, we have Zodiac Dryden. Alright, so next up, this is an interesting one I've seen some talk of. So this is Droll and Lockbird. This is a card I never liked. I really hate Droll as a card because it hits a lot of lower tier decks, and it's a card that you know the format's about to be really nasty if it's seeing play in the side, or especially the main. But right now, we're about to move into a format where without Droll, it's going to be really, really hard to get any one-for-one trades with any of the top decks. Like, without Droll, like, comparing Ash to Droll against, like, Super Heavy, for example, it's, like, it's terrible to open Ash compared to Droll. Colossus can't come back while Sprite is still tier 1, even ignoring Sprite. Like, Colossus just sucks. I hate that card. Runic Fountain Limited. We'll get to Runic Fountain. I think I might have accidentally forgot to open it, but we'll open it later. But yeah, so Droll is a card I've been seeing some people say maybe if they're desperate to push access more, we might see a Droll hit, but I don't think so. I think Droll is going to remain untouched. This is the one time where I'll say it's a necessary evil. But I'll let y'all decide. Let's go ahead and start a poll. And this one I'll give multiple options for, because I can see this card going to literally any number. 3, 2, 1, and 0. What do we think is going to happen to Droll? They're going to ban Droll because I just bought 3 copies. Real. I literally have so a similar situation. M-Rocket, he should still be lurking right now. Yep, there he is. He literally, like, always buys an expensive card, and then we get a reprint announced, like, 5 minutes later. It's so funny. I'd say 1. Most likely not going to be hit. I would love it to be hit, and not just because I'm on a Super Heavy Samurai. Lamau, based. Droll's our current max C. Droll's 2 format dependent to be banned. Ban Soul Piercer and Ben 10 before Droll. Nah, actually, you know what? Droll to 5 because I hate Drytron. No, I wouldn't compare Droll to Max C at all. Droll is like a card that pops in and out of formats. Max C is a game warper. Monodium feels like it's gonna be the next tier 0. Nah. It's a little bit too specific compared to a deck like Super Heavy, and it kind of dies to Ghost Ogre on Rumheart. Alright, let's go ahead and look at the poll. Alright, so it looks like all of you say it's, or not all of you, but most of you say that it's going to stay at 3. I personally agree. I think, if anything, they might keep it around for one more format before they hit it, if they do hit it. It's missing 6 cards in the OCG. Yeah, I know it's, we're getting, like, the new, egg and stuff like that, the new globe, whatever you want to call it. Alright. Next up, which Drytron? Well, Drytron or Herald Drytron? Any Drytron. I just hate Drytron. It's such an annoying deck. Drytron's just a Floodgate deck like Branded. Okay. I disagree because Drytron has a lot of builds that are all Floodgates or all nasty, and Branded actually has builds that are pretty based, like Predaplan stuff. After that, it's missing 6 cards. What, you mean like in terms of set numbers or something, or in terms of numbers compared to like the other Visas archetypes? I feel Gold Pride is going to be the best deck next format, based and Truth-Pilled. Alright, so next up, this one, y'all, we can never let this card be. Discuss. How should we hit Drytron? We shouldn't, but it's just annoying. Alright, let's discuss here. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to let y'all talk about this. And keep in mind, Wakaushi is, or whatever it's called now, it's generic. Because, like, the main thing is that sometimes Konami likes to keep things banned because they sometimes actually care about the health of the game. But sometimes they also want to unban things to push product, even if it's bad for the game. Like Dryden with the Tri-Brigade cards. So I could see this coming back for Super Heavy. And for, like, Valance having gotten support in the last couple sets. Extra deck monsters are 0 or 3. Nah. Electromite was at 1. It was fine for the longest time. Pendulums really need this card back to be good. Nah, you got Beyond, though. To be fair, even with Electromite, Pen decks would still mostly suck because of Castor blocking off a single scale. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the poll. So we have 1 or 0. And remember, this is prediction, not wish list. It's not what we think should come back or not come back. It's what do we think Konami thinks should come back or not come back. Pendulums are good. It's called Super Heavy Samurai. Alright, so it looks like people are saying Electromite is staying banned. That was a really fast poll. Y'all really don't like Electromite, huh? Alright. Next up, one of my least favorite decks of all time, or at least when I was younger, when I first got into competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Do we think Engage is going to move up any copies? Because Sky Striker hasn't really been doing anything, especially since Mystic Mine left. Like, I think it's topped, like, 3 regionals, don't quote me on that, since Mystic Mine was banned. And, yeah, it's just, especially right now against Castora, it's really weird to say that Sky Striker has been power crept considering how dominant it was for the longest time. But I mean, it's a Link era deck in a Master Rule 5 era. Engage is a fundamentally busted card. It's literally Pot of Greed. But like you get to choose one of the cards. It's kind of crazy. But like I don't know. Like do we think Engage is going to come to multiple copies? Probably to 2. I don't think they'll bump it straight to 3. Engage can stay where it is. I think SAG just won't sell. No. You think people aren't going to buy Cyberstorm Access if Shifter stays? I think you're smoking crack. Alright. So we're going to go Engage. All the Sky Striker players left after Konami dropped their age. Bro, the dedicated Sky Striker players stayed, and that's the scary part. Alright, so we have Engage 1, 2, or 3. Max C at 1, no. I usually talk about Max C every list, but I don't think they're ever going to give it to us in the TCG, thank God. So I'm not going to talk about it in this one. 2 people saying at 1, 2 people saying at 2. I mean, what's playable under Shifter? Branded, Castora, Sprite, Labyrinth, Sword Soul, Trap Tricks, Flunder, Dinomorphia, Makonko to an extent, Exo Sister. I'm sorry, I'm looking at like my entire thing. Madolce. Let's see, we got. I think no, Virtual World can't, but the deck's kind of bad anyway. But it's like, you're asking what decks are playable under Shifter, but like, we literally have the best deck of the format with a walking Macrocosmos as one of the main centerpieces of the board. Max C should be at -1. I was telling my friend about that. I was telling M-Rocket about that last night. I was like, or no, it was today. It was, Max C should be at -2, where if they find out you have 2 copies, they get to shoot you. Alright, wow, 21 concurrent viewers suddenly. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. So, Engage, it looks like y'all think it's going to be staying at 1. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and cross that out. Remember, this is what our list currently looks like. Everyone that came back in, or that just came in, sorry. This is a prediction list, not a wish list, just as a heads up before you start voting in the polls. Honestly, Sky Striker is an archetype that's been so power crept that the only move they had was Mystic Mine Pass, and that's it, so Engage can come back to 2 and no problem. Honestly, I kind of want them to get multi-roll back first. I think Engage is just kind of stupid. You must destroy a copy of Maxi in front of the judges to be allowed to join. Based. Oh, I love that, actually. Alright. So, let's go ahead and get to the next one. We have Eradicator Virus. So, this is another card that's gotten really nasty because of Labyrinth, but Labyrinth as a deck hasn't been doing too crazy lately. So, I don't think in particular this is going to get hit, but this is a card that has been on a lot of people's radars. So, I'm just going to go ahead and do a quick poll. Do we think Eradicator is going to be hit? I'll probably do like 1, 0, or 3, 1, 0, because it feels like a card they would limit or something. I don't know. Actually, I'll just do 3, 0. There we go. I remember this card came back. I used it in Dinosaur, and I tributed off Overtex. This card can also go die. Banned for the future, the TCG. Card gave me PTSD. Okay, for a second, I was like confused. I was like, y'all really think it's gonna get banned? I don't like it, but it probably won't be hit. Yeah, I agree. I've gotten hit with Eradicator a couple of times. When I was playing Flu, hitting spells was really nasty against me. Feel Eradicator should be at 3 because Labyrinth is not a good deck. I don't think Labyrinth's a bad deck. It just has its issues like a lot of other trap decks. But Wannabe actually makes a lot of trap decks so much better. I'm really excited for Wannabe. Wannabe is such a cool card. Also, someone in my comments told me about how Dynamorphia can summon Wannabe and use it in a Rexstorm to go into Chaos Angel. And I was so disappointed. I was so disappointed. Alright, so it looks like the majority think it is going to stay at 3, and I personally agree. Alright. Next up, this one I won't talk about because we put Expulsion banned. That was the Gimmick Puppet Nightmare. It was going to be, if we left Expulsion there, I was going to cover over that card as well. Next up, Harp Horror. Did you know that as of today, Orcus, or Harp I should say, sorry, is playable in every Konami legal format except for TCG? Because it's in Duel Links now. I think they're probably going to kill the format either listless or necklace, as OCG seems like such a weaker meta than TCG. I don't think they'll kill the format yet. Like I said, I think because they're still trying to push the Visas stuff, I don't think they're going to hit another Visas deck that badly, at least. But anyways, I forgot to put the poll up, Lamau. That's on me. Alright, so do we think Harp is going to... Yeah, and speed duels. Do we think it's going to stay at 0, or is it finally going to come to 1? Do you think Konami will finally grace us? Remember, predictions, not wish list. Predictions, not wish list. Orcus is so power creep, so Harp should be at 3. You could put Harp to 5, and Orcus would still be bad. Like, it's literally, like, the definition of gambling. Orcus tier was really fun. I'll give it that. Like, I was playing Orcus tier even without Harp, and it was a really cool deck. But now it's, like, basically unplayable without Kit Kalos, so... I don't know anything about Orcus because I'm new. Doesn't this card just turn Orcus into a splashable engine? It's not as splashable as it used to be. Like, a lot of people are complaining that it's because it's super splashable, but Orcus isn't splashable anymore because we actually have decks that aren't dark that are good. Because back then, the best decks were usually dark-related and link-related, and so that's why Orcus was so good in there, especially with Nightmare Mermaid. Because Mermaid was the thing that made it splashable. Like, other than Mermaid, you couldn't really splash it very well, other than I think Sky Striker Orcus was still a deck. I'm not too sure. But yeah, it's not Harp that really makes it splashable, it's Mermaid, but I don't think we'll ever get Mermaid back, especially while Iibley's still legal. I think Konami properly forgot that Harp exists. Harp's been in Duel Links for a long time. Oh, I guess it was Speed Duels that it dropped in today, then. Alright, so it looks like y'all have high hopes like me. Let's put Harp on Limited. Yippee! I love Orcus. It's one of the decks in Toss or Eternal format that I really wanted to play. I just never could because it was kind of pricey. You know, Dingirsu's like fucking $15 right now still. It's crazy. Oh god, that is not what that's supposed to look like. It dropped in something today, Jazz. Okay, leave me alone. I just saw it on Twitter. Leave me alone. Oh, it just became meta in Duel Links today. Alright, let's end the poll there. But yeah, Orcus is a deck I always wanted to play when it was good, and I just never got a chance to because the paywall, because I was, like, underage, had no job at the time. Just got Dingirsu and Galatea. There we go. Alright, but speaking on the topic of Mermaid and Iibley... Iibley! So this is a card that has been around for a good while. It's always been doing something really nasty. And in particular, both Castra and Sprite are abusing this card. Castra, I believe... They don't Small World Search it. They just hard draw it, right? Or they, like, get it off Prosperity or something if they play it. And then Sprite can literally summon this card from the deck with no repercussions, really. So, I think, honestly, we can see this card getting hit because almost no decks in Cyberstorm Access format have an out to Iibley natively. Because it's not even... A deck like Super Heavy can't even play Dark Hole or anything like that. They can't play any back row. So, they can't even out the Iibley that way. And then, like, decks like Purely, they need to special summon... Like, basically, I think that Iibley is a really nasty card, as much as I love Ib as a character. So, I'm wondering if y'all think we're going to see an Iibley hit. Also recently got Babylon. Oh, okay. But yeah, let's go ahead and start a poll here. Iibley. So, do we think it's going to stay at 3, or is it going to go to 0? Because putting it to 1 would be completely pointless. I think it should go, but I'm not too sure if Konami's going to hit it. And just in case it doesn't go, I have Lingaribo in my Trap Tricks deck, because I think this card's going to skyrocket in playability. Oh, it was just a hair, thank God. I thought my new keyboard and mouse pad was, like, scuffed. Alright, 12 votes. We got a lot of people saying ban. I don't want to see any more World Legacy lore cards be banned, but it might have to happen. Trade deal. Banlist receives Iibley, we receive Ib. Does it accept? I love Ib. I really want to be able to use my Ib again and do some funny jank combos. But it looks like a lot of you are saying banned. So, go ahead and put her right up here. Sorry, Ib. Maybe you can come back in your better form someday. I also miss Danglong. Can we please get... We have, like, no good level 5 synchros anymore because of that shit. It's crazy. But, next up, Castra a Riseheart. Sorry it's not an actual render. I only had, like, the weird, like... It wasn't dual, it was, like, Master Dual something. I don't know. It was some random website. But... A Riseheart is a really strong boss monster that a lot of people are saying is either going to get banned or it's going to get limited, something like that. I personally don't think they're going to hit a Riseheart. I think it'd be kind of weird. I think Shangriira deserves to hit a little bit more. But I want to let y'all decide. No, you get Harp instead. One sec. Let me end the Iibley poll, by the way. Sorry, that's still up. But I want to let y'all decide. Do we think that a Riseheart is going to stay at 3? Is it going to go to 1? Or is it going to go to 0? Like I said, I don't think they're going to hit it or anything. That'd be kind of weird in my opinion. Like I said, Shangri-Ira probably deserves to hit a little bit more. But I want to let you all decide. Too new to be banned. You banned number 89, so I don't think so. Alright, so it's fine with Diablosis gone. Alright, looks like the majority of you are saying untouched. Another person voted for 1. Interesting. Ooh, it's also 10 o'clock. You know what that means. Free ice cream! Let's go ahead. Alright. Let me check at the JP account, see if anything dropped. Alright, nothing important, just Rush Duel. I wish we got Rush Duel. Rush Duel's so cool. Alright, one leg Dryden, real. Alright, so it looks like the majority of people are saying it's going to remain untouched. Alright. Next up, another thing I don't think is going to get hit. Astra Fenrir. Fenrir's pretty interesting because, one sec, let me try to zoom in a decent amount without, like, making the entire card take up too much space. Fenrir is an interesting card because it immediately saw play as a staple in a lot of decks, and it still does now, especially with Super Heavy because it's an Earth. But it's also a really powerful card in the best deck of the format. So some people are saying... Sorry, oh my god, this Pepsi is making me really gassy. Some people are saying that it's going to get hit. I don't think so. I think it's generic enough where Konami wants to incentivize people to get it and to keep using it without being, like, super generic broken, like a card like Pankratops at the time was, which a lot of people compare this card to. I also think that because they want to push other decks, Vanquish Soul really, really needs Fenrir. So I think they're not going to touch it, but let me go ahead and put it in a poll. Do we think it's going to, one sec. Do we think it's going to stay at 3, go to 2, go to 1, or is it going to be banned? I don't think it'll get touched. I don't really think there's a need for it. I'd rather them hit something like Unicorn first, especially with Diablosis gone anyway. It's not even the best card in the deck, so I'm just wondering what y'all's opinion is here. My local card shop still has tons of Darkwing Blast, and it'll be in shambles if Fenrir gets hit. How? Literally nowhere in a 1,000-mile radius of me has Darkwing Blast. Walmart doesn't have it. My local card stores don't have it. Like, everyone during a pick-your-own-box tournament's always like, oh, you got any Darkwing Blast? No. You get Duels from the Deep. Happy birthday. Unicorn hit makes more sense. 2 is winning. Really? 1 and 2 are winning. What? I feel Fenrir and Unicorn could get hit because it's an indirect hit to cat, or should get hit because it's in... It's not indirect, it's a direct hit. Unless you're trying to say a direct hit. Fenrir, Blue, and Riseheart can't be touched right now because they just got their Ultra or Ulti print in the current OTS. You drive a good point there. It's not that they can't get hit. I do think they can get hit. Probably just not significantly, though. Mine isn't an OTS, so there's not tons of Yu-Gi-Oh players there. Oh, okay, it makes more sense. Alright, so we have 4 more people that haven't voted. Also, one sec, let me pan my camera down. Every time I, like, lean a little bit, my face is super far to the bottom. You go tilt. Hiya. Okay. God, my mustache looks horrible. My face just looks kind of horrible, not gonna lie. I've had a chance to shower today. Oh shit, let me pull chat back up. Fenrir gets hit, then a Riseheart, or not get hit. I mean, we already said no to a Riseheart anyway. Fenrir to 2, Unicorn to 1. I don't know. Alright, looks like no more votes are coming in, so 3 Fenrir it is. Next up for Castro, by the way, there's gonna be some stuff missing that I'll try to pull up towards the end, but we'll talk about that later. But next up for Castro, this is the second to last thing for Castro here. We have Shangriira, which I literally learned yesterday or today that it was Shangriira and not still Shangri-La from the local from the OCG translation that we got. I'm really embarrassed. I swear it was Shangri-La. But anyways, this card is like the bane of everyone's existence against Castro because it's blocking off zones, it protects itself when you try to kill it, and then it also gets them free advantage that can also serve as follow-up or disruptions directly from the deck every standby phase without detaching or anything like that. It's 3k defense, so it's hard to punch over even if it doesn't have protection for itself. It's a really nasty card, not once per turn, not even really once per chain, I don't think, is it? Yeah, no, it's not even a once per chain. That's nasty. But, yeah, this card, it's the main thing that's, like, the win condition of Castro. They're trying to block off all your zones, and I think it's a really gross card. I can see it getting limited because having multiple is the main thing that lets you get the max zone lock. But if we do hit Diablosis, one Shangriira isn't really that, like, important, I should say. So I'm going to put 3 or 1. I don't think it'll get banned. That'd be stupid. So I'm going to put Shangri here. Do we think it's going to stay at 3 or is it going to go to 1? Because I don't think they'll ban it. That'd be kind of stupid. If that was the case, Riseheart would have been hit along with the other tiers in the last ban list. No, they're not going to hit Riseheart because they have more Visas stuff, and Riseheart's actually more important to the other Visas decks than the tier stuff. Because it's a thing that you can use for Vicious Estround. Also, hello, 20 viewers. 19 viewers. Yeah, probably sitting me, like, watching me sit there just drinking Pepsi. Probably, kind of a turn off. Alright, so it looks like the majority are saying Shangri-La will stay at 3. Okay, so final hit for Castra. I promise there's no more. We have Unicorn. This is the main starter for the deck. Grabs your Birth, grabs your Theosis. Speaking of which, probably should have had Birth on here. I can pull that up, actually, after this. So this probably won't be the last one for Castra. But it's the main, like, lifeblood of the deck. Rips cards out of your extra deck, grabs their spells. Their main thing, it's 2,500, so it beats over almost everything. Really strong card, but is it a card that we can see getting hit by any means, especially with the Diablosis spam? Or do we think that it's going to stay at 3 and just do the Diablosis hit? Because remember, we already did do Diablosis, so let's go ahead and put Unicorn. 3, 2, 1, or 0. You go ahead and hit ask, and while y'all do that, I'm going to go ahead and grab some things that are missing. Do I even have a render of Birth? I don't think I do. HK, I have Theosis, I just don't have Birth. Wild. Now let me downsize that. Ugh, my stuff isn't together. Alright, Castra Birth. I missed when it was called Birth with an E. Because it just made me think of like a dummy thick Castra. Alright. Castra Birth. Ba-da-ba-ba. Birth, and then I need to pull up some other things. Okay, I need that one, and then boom, boom. Okay. Alright. Bunch of things pulled up there. And it looks like a lot of people are expecting a Unicorn limit. That's crazy. I think with the Diablosis hit, people wouldn't be too concerned about the Unicorn. Bada bing, bada boom, and stop stretching it out. You have no reason to be stretching out. Alright, there we go. Next up, I'll do the Castra Birth next. Birth is a really, really nasty card that gives you an additional normal summon so they can continue to extend even if you hit them with a hand trap. It can also revive things that are banished or in the grave for more extension through hand traps. And then it just rips 3 cards out of your opponent's grave face down just for activating a spell card or effect. This card can end up being really, really gross, and it can be deadlier to some decks than any other card in the Castra archetype. I think mainly just for the follow-up and extension that it gives, it could end up being hit-worthy. But we did just limit Unicorn and ban Diablosis, so do we really think that they would also hit Birth on top of that is the real question. Also, Unicorn's very splashable right now. I don't know, maybe in like Speedroid. I haven't seen anything that's been splashing compared to Fenrir. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and put a poll up. Do we think we're going to see 3, 2, 1, or 0 Castra Birth? I don't think it'll get hit. I don't think it should get hit if we're already hitting Diablosis and Unicorn, sorry. So, I don't know. That's just me. A lot of people are saying 2. Interesting, interesting. Limiting Unicorn, semi-limiting Birth is the best way to go. Semi-limit? That's crazy. Simo would be so angry with y'all. Oh, my back. One sec, y'all. This is weird looking. Oh, my back's kind of numb. Holy. Alright, 45% say at 3, 36% say at 2, 18% at 1. Come on, we got 7 more people that haven't voted yet. Don't be shy, it's completely anonymous, even if you're just lurking here. Go ahead and leave your vote so we can get a more accurate reading and so Twitter doesn't jump me. Alright, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And it looks like Birth is going to be staying at 3. All right, honestly, expected. So before we get into anything else, I'm gonna go ahead and take a little break. It's been a good, God, how long have we been going? Yeah, it's been a good hour already. Wow, okay. It's been a good hour. I'm gonna go ahead and take a small break. I'm gonna leave y'all an ad break or two. I will be right back. Don't use an ad blocker, please. Don't hit skip. Please. Money. Thank you. Okay. Ow, that was my knee. Ooh, ow, ow. Ooh, that hurt. That hurt really bad. Ooh. Oh. 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 Okay, I'm done with the Family Guy reference. That really hurt, though. I was about to sit down and ask, did y'all behave yourselves? And I, like, slammed my knee into the metal part of my desk. Holy crap, Lois. This is almost as bad as the time that I got put to 2 on the limited list. Oh my god. I'm such an idiot. Alright. Eva to 1, Lamau. Alright. Sorry if my face is, like, all greasy. My dad made, like, cheesy bacon bombs or whatever, and I just went and pigged out on one. Alright. Anyways, let's go ahead and continue. So, Miscellaneousaurus. This is a card that honestly could have come to 3 ages ago and probably didn't need to get hit to 1 in the first place. I'm not saying this is a biased dino enjoyer, but the main reason I bring up Misk now of all times is because we have the upcoming support in both, not Cyberstorm Access, right? We have it in a Wild Survivors, Animation Chronicles, which is usually our Battles of Legend, and then I think Duelist Nexus is also giving us some really, really good dino support. I think that's where we're getting Evil's our Ron. So, I'm definitely seeing Misk coming to 2 or 3 at some point. But the real question is just when. Do we think that they'll do it now, preemptively, or they're going to wait until June or July whenever we get that stuff? It'll go to 3 to push dinos. Like I said, I think it's absolutely going to come to more copies. The main question is when. Like, do we think Konami's going to do it now or no? Have you read Misk? I have. I love Misk. I think the main problem is the opponents don't read Misk. Alright. So let's go ahead and put... Alright, so do we think Misk is going to stay at 1? Is it going to go to 2? Or are they going to do what they did last time and put it straight to 3? Alright. Go to 3, 3, 2, 2, 2. I play Dino. I love Dino. Y'all really think 2? Like I said, last time what they did with Misk, they put it straight to 3. So that's why I'm interesting. I think Konami hates this card. Real and true. I feel discriminated against as a Dino player. Nah, I can't say that. All the new Dino support coming out is crazy. Like, the fact that we finally got a Fossil Dig that pops, which is something I've been dreaming of for months, or years at this point, actually. Wild. Feel Misk is a good semi-limit because you got a backup copy in case the opponent called by the Gravesip. Mostly in case they, like, DD Crow it or something. But the biggest thing isn't because of that. The biggest reason, like, the biggest difference between 1 Misk and 2 Misk is that you have one for a follow-up play. Like, a lot of the time during your combos with multiple Misk, Misk can summon Misk. So you can literally go Misk effect to summon another one, or summon it off of Baby, and then have that one engraved for follow-up. Dino can usually combo pretty easily, especially with Prosperity, making it a lot less bricky. But even with more copies of Misk, giving it more consistency in general, it also lacks follow-up. That's why it was so important to get that other Misk. Not to mention having it in hand for the opponent's turn is really good for the protection. But it was always the follow-up. That was like the really big thing about Dinosaur that it lacked without it. That's why you saw things like the Nemesis Keystone. You saw the Bujinki Amaterasu. I got an ulti of that for Dinosaur back then. But it was just so important to have that extra copy of Misk. Because if you didn't have Ovi or something in hand for follow-up, you usually ended up losing even if you prevented your opponent from playing the game. I think they should ban Misk. Screw off. I play Dino 2, have a biased opinion, have Misk to 3. Hope they ban Called By. I was going to put Called By on here, but I don't know. It's a card that Konami's been very stingy with. Can we put Misk to 3? I'll cancel you on Twitter. Real. Misk at 3, definitely not because of the new generic Dino support. Alright, it looks like overall, though, y'all think Misk is going to 2, which, again, I think is interesting because they went straight to 3 last time they put it from 1. But I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to argue. Let's go ahead and put her right over here, my sweet Misky boy. Funnily enough, the new combos I've been laughing with Ground Zeno and stuff, you don't even use Misk. That's the really funny thing. Called By to 2, real and true and based. Alright. Next up is Recital Starling. This card's already at 2. There's just a really quick discussion. Do we think Konami's going to put it to 3 yet, or are they're just going to keep it at 2? I'm going to go ahead and just ask real quick in a poll. Recital. Do you think it's going to stay at 2, or do you think they're going to push it to 3? Speaking of which, I have a very non-biased card that I want to put in there. That I forgot to put in there. And where is it? Come on. Come on, where is he? Wait, what do you mean I don't have one? I swear I have a picture of this card. Huh. Weird. No, it's not the Samorg Link 3. It's not Samorg. Samorg. There we go. It's not Samorg. Oh, man. Y'all know me too well at this point. Lilisk has done nothing to have it at 3. It hasn't done nothing. Shit, you weren't supposed to see that. Gotta have it at 2 to keep Lyralist players from having fun. Get out of my chat. Get out. I will not accept Lyralist slander. Alright, but it looks like y'all are saying this going to 3. You can't come into the Bird Up Masters chat and then say Lyralist players, no fun. Lyralist Tri-Brigade's 2 power crept ever since Sprite came. I think it's not that it's power crept or anything, even with Samorg and stuff like that. Like, if they gave it Samorg, I think it would still be a really strong deck. It just dies really hard to Dark Ruler. Alright. Anyways. It's not Samorg. Do you think... Okay, so this isn't like a biased pick for me this time. This is a genuine question. Do we think Konami will bring back Samorg because they hit the barrier statue? Personally, I never summoned barrier statue off Samorg. No good Bird Up player really summoned barrier statue off Samorg, but apparently it was everyone's biggest gripe with it, and it did get banned last list, so I'm wondering if by now we think Konami will bring this card back because Bird Up has been proven to be power crept. as well as Barrier Statue being gone now. I think, like, as much as I want my hopes to be up for it, it is a card that can potentially limit design in the future, but it is a card that could, again, be banned in the future if it became a problem. So I'm wondering if it's something that can come back now, or if it's something that they'll bring back later, if at all. No, as long as Barrier Statue is banned, can come back to 3. Wish to probably keep it banned. Apex would have to leave for some more to come back. But see, I don't think Apex is that big of a problem. Please just go away, Rabina. What decks are mainly played on this channel? Oh, Dino I haven't played in years, y'all. When was my last Dinosaur deck profile? Dinosaur. My last Dino deck profile was November of 2021. That's crazy. That was a good thumbnail, wow. It's a bit sloppy, but, like, the outer glow and everything on the scrap. That's a good thumbnail, damn. Anyways, sorry about my ego. Bird Up and Branded, I believe. I mean, Branded's what I was playing, but it's not really, like, one of my things I'm known for. It's mostly Bird Up. Trap Tricks is one of the things that I'm really known for. My most viewed video now, it was my second most viewed, but now my most viewed and my way most liked video is the Trap Tricks combo tutorial. Also, Trap Tricks Vesicula with the sunglasses and the blunt used to be my profile picture. Now it's Kit. But it's mostly Bird Up that I'm known for. I made, like, that 2-hour breakdown and everything. 2021, love to see you play with again. Honestly, I'm considering it once we get the new stuff. I just hope it's not expensive, but that's the problem. Because of the Zeus, but I get rid of it with the Bestial. Alright. Anyways, I didn't put the poll up, so let's put some more. Do we think it's going to stay at 0, or is it going to go to 1? Actually, how is the Trap Tricks video doing? I know it passed my Ghost Trick video, finally, which I was known for that for a little bit. But, it's at 38,350 views with 1,735 likes. Keep in mind that I think my second most liked video is like 300 likes. And I think it's the Ghost Trick video. $600, sorry. I thought it was something like 300 to 600. That's 628 likes, and that has 36,000 views. What's the channel's stance on Dark World players? Can they stay in chat? You can stay in chat, but you're on thin ice, buddy. As long as you're not the dude in my comments that came in, like, mauling over an entire span of a week over Dark World. One sec. Dark World. Where is he? I can search for specific keywords in the comments. Oh my god, it's this guy. It's this guy, Andrew Good. Not to dox him or anything, but, like, dude, this guy was so mad. It's kind of laughable that you put tier in tier 2 and didn't even mention Dark World. Dark World is meta this format. I'm winning 60 to 70% of my matches with it. Go ahead and run a full deck of Bestials to counter it, then you'll lose to Cash and Sword Soul constantly. Go ahead and dedicate your entire side deck to it. Then you won't be able to side for Labyrinth or any of the other rogue decks, lol. Dark World isn't a great spot. Just side in 3 evenly matched books and some kaijus for the walking macro cosmos. A Riseheart's easier to out than a macro or D-Fissure. Feel free to side in your D-Shifters too, just hope that you draw it in the opening, because breaking against Dark World is game ending. I think it's the also the guy that says, and even if you're prepared for it, you're probably expecting the Danger variant, but Pure is better. They said Dangers in Dark World were bad. Yeah. Alright, so it looks like, unfortunately, the majority of people agree Samorg is staying gone. Man. Can't I just have one nice thing? Alright. It's a Galaxy Brain Tank. I bet he runs 3 torrent. Do not diss Torrential Tribute. That's like the best Ghost Trick card. Actually, no, it's Needle Stealing. It's the best Trap Tricks card. All your stuff's protected. I don't play it anymore, but it's the best Trap Tricks card. I just want Zen Mighty to 3 and wind up Hunter Band. Dude, even with Hunter around, you can have Zen Mighty. I don't think anyone's going to be running around topping events with a wind up FTK. Alright. Anyways, next up, I only have a few more here that are like the mandatory covers. I'm pretty sure the rest of them are just going to be whatever are asked. Runic Fountain. I don't have Tip on here. We can do Tip later, but I think Fountain's the biggest chopping block card for the archetype. Runic was doing really good on release with Sprite and stuff like that. And then suddenly it, like, caved off the face of the earth. Because it wasn't, like, I think it wasn't, like, amazing against tier or something like that. I don't really remember. But it suddenly exploded during the 250th YCS. Like, I'm pretty sure it was, like, 13 out of top 32 or something was a Runic variant at London. Correct me if I'm wrong. I might be completely tripping there, but it was some really big number. And it was really, like, sudden. And Runic's just been doing really good consistently since then, be it Pure, Naturia, Sprite, whatever. So Runic, or Castra as well. Runic, I think Fountain is easily the best card in the archetype, especially because it's a soft once per turn, and it's like the biggest thing they want to go for. I think I can easily see this card going to 1. Probably not banned, at least not for now. I think going to 1, though, is a really big thing. But I want to know y'all's opinion. See, going to 1 wouldn't even be, like, unplayable for the deck, because they have ways to recycle it from the graveyard as well. But they do have to play a lot more cautiously around that 1 copy of Fountain, because it is the big, like, main key part of the deck. So I'm going to put up a poll. Do we think it's going to stay at 3, or is it going to go to 1? To 1 would just kill the deck? No. It wouldn't kill the deck. They have, like, a million ways to recycle it. They have, like, Jerry and stuff like that. Like, they can search it off Hugin, they can recycle it off of Jerry, and they can just play more copies of Jerry. It becomes a lot less free. Like, you have to, like, really play with your resources. You can't just use all of the effects to pop things or negate things. You have to use them to summon your Jerrys, to recycle your Fountains in order to get your resource engine going. Alright, it looks like the majority think it is going to go to 1. There's a new Runic card in Duelist Nexus. Yeah, the new one coming out. I forgot about that one. What is it? The horse? Alright, so let's go ahead and put the Fountain here. And boop. There we go. Come on. I pressed enter. There we go. Not recycle from the banish. I mean, if they cosmic it, they cosmic it. Sucks to suck. Same with Sky Striker and multi-roll, you know? Fountain will make the engine a glass cannon. Probably. Send Runic to the Shadow Realm because I don't like playing against it. In fact, ban everything that isn't Mechanical Chaser Beatdown. Wasn't Mechanical Chaser like several $1,000s for the longest time? Also, my hair is gross right now. Jeez, none of y'all said anything? I look like an idiot. I mean, I always look like an idiot, but next up, Sprite Blue. So Sprite, everyone thought was going to be hurt pretty bad by the Elf ban, but the deck is still one of the best decks in the game right now. Like, it's just still popping off. You can use things like the Iibley lock. You can use it with a bunch of other engines now. You can still keep playing it pure and just cram a bunch of flex spots in there. You can just do a lot of stuff with Sprite still, and it's such a consistent engine, such a powerful and potent engine. So I'm wondering if we're going to see another hit to Sprite to push the new product or not, but I'm not too sure. I'm going to go ahead and ask, what do we think about Sprite Blue? Easily one of the best Sprite cards. Searches your monsters, that helps you extend into any of your plays. So I'm going to go ahead and put Sprite Blue. Do we think it's going to stay at 3, go to 2, go to 1? Well, I messed that up. Don't vote in that. Don't vote in that. Let's put that again. Sprite Blue. Also, about rocking a ponytail, I usually do when I go out in public. And when I record most of my videos. I just keep it down when I'm doing streams because I'm too lazy. $200 a piece back in the day for Chaser? Crazy. They don't need Elf if the Xyz is still in the game. I mean, Elf, to be fair, was a lot stronger than Gigantic. Limit Blue or Jet, but one has to be limited. Why does everyone suddenly hate Jet? Like, why is everyone asking for a Jet limit when Blue is just so much stronger? I mean, like, Jet does the Newman play, but, like, Newman has so many outs. Or just, like, Ghost Bell, the double cross. With Sprite just banned. No one makes Toad. No one is actively making Toad right now. If you ban Toad, I'll quit Yu-Gi-Oh! If Toad gets banned, I will never touch a Yu-Gi-Oh! Card again. That is a promise. Toad is such a cool card. Yeah, we'll get to starter in just a moment. All right, it looks like we're going to keep blue at 3, but now on the topic of starter, exact same logic here. Starter, really, really strong card. Best starter card in the entire deck. Best follow-up card in the deck because you can search it off a jet. The life point loss is actually a pretty good way to balance the card, not going to lie. But again, it's a one-card combo into like all of your different plays. Ignoring all the fact that it's an extension and everything like that. You have your other things like the Nimble Beaver, etc., etc. So I'm going to go ahead and put in here. So we have starter. Everything is going to stay at 3. Is it going to go to 2? Is it going to go to 1? I don't think it's going to be banned. Let me go ahead and check one of my comments real quick. I got a new comment. Blue can't be touched. I told you it can still be touched. Yeah, someone got mad. It was like spell canceller to beat someone in a mirror match that doesn't even play spell and traps. Yeah, sure. It's like you can't use pen skills under spell canceller. If blue at 3 is fine, then so starter. See, I think it's fine. It's just crazy how powerful Sprite still is. Wow, the tier list is already at 2,000 views. Y'all are going crazy. Hopefully I can keep going on to the next few days. I'm probably going to take like a little bit of a quote-unquote break in terms of like really severely pumping out content because last month was like exhausting and I'm kind of burnt out. So I'm kind of really like preying on residual revenue to get my paycheck next month. All right, so we have a few more people that can vote still, but it's going to be either 2 or 1, I'm assuming here. Wow. So, okay. It looks like starter going to 1. Interesting, interesting. See, I expect some form of Sprite hit because Sprite is doing really, really good. And I think starter is probably the best one that we can go for. Oh, a little too big. Okay. Next up, so actually that's the last one. Wow. All right, so this is our list so far. Honestly, not even far-fetched in terms of the size of a list. I think they're going to bring back a few more cards rather than hit some of these, but not too sure, not too sure. But let me know now, before I end up either doing another ad break or before I end up popping off stream, actually, are there any other cards you think that should be mentioned here? Like, I'm going to give a span of a few minutes. What do we think also can be addressed here or should be discussed? One sec, someone messaged me on Twitter. Or not Twitter, Discord. Oh, I think MRocket sent me something and then deleted it. Gazelle is something that I was supposed to have on here. Yeah, I had it last week, but I had to redo it because, yeah, stream didn't work out. Let me find it if I can. Also, Upstart to 2. I think Upstart can stay at 1 for, like, ever. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Gazelle. There it is. Prosperity. They're not going to hit Prosperity. Thunder Dragon Colossus. No. No. Gazelle to 2 because of the upcoming Salad support. But you do have to remember, we're not getting that set for a while. So I'm not too sure if they're going to hit it or bring it back on this list. So Gazelle. Gazelle, I think, can easily come to 3. It can come to 5. I think Salad will still be kind of bad. Much like Sky Striker and all the other decks of that time. It's kind of just completely power crept. So I'm assuming y'all are just going to agree and say that Gazelle's probably going to end up either coming... I mean, I think you can agree that it can come off, but do we think Konami's going to do it this list, or is they going to do it next list? So, 1, 2, 3. Remember, predictions, people. Predictions, not wish list. And while this poll is going on, again, feel free to keep suggesting things in chat, because once the suggestions stop flowing, this stream is going to be ending, because I'm already getting kind of tired, not going to cap. Gazelle next list sounds right. I think we might get one more list. Chicken came to 1 and Into the Void free? Hell no. You know what? Fuck you. Give me Card of Demise to 3 then. You think his ban list gonna be a firing squad like the tier hit? Nah. Blaster to 1. Blaster to 1 is something I can see. Definitely something I can see. Let me go ahead. Find him in here if I can. Blaster. There he is. Runic Tip. We already put Fountain to 1, so I'm pretty sure they're not gonna hit both. Tier can come back with the condition all the Ishizu cards get banned. I guess, but tier players don't deserve rights, so. All right, so it looks like people are saying Gazelle is going to be coming to 3. Also, sorry about that downsize. Whoa. Oh, wrong thing. Haha, that's the thumbnail. Gazelle over here. Not there. What am I thinking? To 3. Dark World players don't get rights. I mean, they're getting colorless, and that counts for something. They might hold off on Blaster. Yeah, like I said, I'm not sure exactly just yet. Also, I just realized Blaster works really well with the volcanic stuff because it puts more banished pyros. Alright, but anyways, Blaster. So, Blaster they brought back in the OCG, and I'm pretty sure they got Tempest right before we got Tempest, so they might pull a similar thing here, but I'm not sure if they're going to do it this list or next list. Honestly, I think they can bring back Tidal as well. They can probably bring back all of the Dragon Rulers, so I'm not too sure. But do we think Blaster is going to come to 1 next list, or do we think he's going to stay banned? Also, on the topic of Blaster, can we please errata Fishborg Blaster to be a once per turn so I can play Hand Traps and Mermail? Thank you. There we go. I only play Dark World when I see the guy who plays the branded gimmick lock at my local tournaments. Plushfire can come back to 1. I agree. Honestly, I think a lot of the pen cards, including Kieran and stuff, can come back. Dude, the amount of people that panicked when I mentioned Kieran was crazy. That card is, like, so fine. Like, it was just wild. Oh, also, on the topic of polls, before I end up deleting it later, the Sleeper Sunday poll is currently up right now if y'all want to go ahead and get your vote in. Unfortunately, it's not the best poll. Sorry, one second. It's not the best, but if you follow me on Twitter, you might know that I lost all of my EDO Pro data in a data transfer mishap. Oopsies on my part. So I did lose, like, all of my decks, so I ended up having to, like, ask Twitter. But if you want to be one of the exclusive people who gets to decide which decks go in the Sleeper Sunday polls and suggest decks for me to test out for Sleeper Sunday, then be sure to check out my Patreon. It also helps support me directly. Link is in the description of every video. Might not be here, but you can find it in the banner on in the top right on my channel. For $1 a month, you get your name shown in the splash screen. I believe it is on every video, which I haven't started yet because I have no patrons yet. But then also, if you go for the $5, you get a lot of really cool benefits. Let me go ahead and read all of them off. Let me log in here real quick. I gotta log in. Blah. Come on. God, it takes like a million years to log into Patreon. And then we switch over to Aurora. There we go. Okay. Gotta look as... View as the public. Okay. So for $1 a month, you get the shout out in every video. It's just a really simple tier to just support me directly. Helps keep me up with costs for like the channel and stuff. I'm trying to get my extra money to be spent on PC upgrades. But for $5 a month, you get a lot of benefits. You get patron-only posts and messages. So anything I post there, you also get early access to certain videos. Like streams, I'll probably end up posting like the night that they're done instead of like several days or like a day later or even a week later. You get the ability to suggest Sleeper Sunday decks, which is really, really big. You'll basically be choosing what is going in the poll. You'll get exclusive access to all of my PNGs. If you follow me on Twitter, you probably know that I'm really, like, big for my PNGs that I make for my thumbnail uses and everything. You get free access to all of those because I'm not doing them on Twitter anymore. You can use them for whatever. Like, there's really... I can't even copyright them, to be fair. But you also get the shout-out in the videos as well. So literally just $5 a month if you want to support me there. Sorry for talking about it so much. I just still have 0 patrons, so I just want to make sure everyone understands about it. And we do have like a good amount of people in here. Anyways, let me go ahead and look at chat here. I'm terribly sorry. So single bounce is not good these days. Vertato 1, ew. Desires free to 3. I don't think they'll put desires to 3 because that's the wrong ratio. But let's go ahead and put blaster over here to 1. We got a nice big list, but nowhere near the size of the last one, thank God. The last one when we did it with chat was terrible. Like, it was horrendous. But, I mean, I had to listen to y'all. Okay. But, with that all out of the way, are there any other, like, relevant options that you want me to talk about? Otherwise, I think now that we are an hour and a half into the stream, I'm probably going to end up popping off. It's like almost 11 o'clock, and I kind of want to head to bed a little bit early tonight, maybe play a few more games of Overwatch or something. Can we bring back Trap Dust Shoot? No, die. No, I'm kidding. I can't say that. I'm going to get demonetized. But thank you all, everybody, so much for coming out to the stream. This was a really fun one. I got a lot more viewers than I ended up anticipating, so thank you all for coming out. I really appreciated it. It's really nice being able to stream. I was literally about to break down over not being able to stream last week. I was so angry. I have no clue what the issue exactly was with my internet, but it's all fixed now. I can get Sleeper Sunday streams up for next month and everything like that. Perfectly fine. But again, thank you all so much for coming out. If you like this type of content and you want to see more streams, then hit the notification bell, subscribe to the channel, etc., etc. Check out all of my other awesome Yu-Gi-Oh content. And if you want to see more than... sorry, one sec. I'm trying to think. I blanked out there. I almost thought I was in a video that I could edit it out. No, I literally just talked about that. Anyways, sorry, everybody. Thank you all so much for coming out, and I'll see you in the next one. This is Aurora, signing off.